Today we're talking about the Canon EF 50mm f1.8, the nifty 50, and why I think that lens is a must-have if you're like me and use the M50 and the kit lens. I don't know about the rest of Chapel Hill, but this campus and downtown area is really nice. Now I'm really approaching this from the point of view of someone who's used to using the M50 with the kit lens. Even though I've had this lens for over 2 years and used it extensively with the M50, I haven't yet made a video specifically about it. And people ask me what should be my second lens, the lens that sort of complements what the kit lens does well. And I think that the 50mm f1.8 is basically the perfect companion for your M50 and kit lens. Now this is a DSLR lens, so you have to get an EF to EFM adapter. You can get two types of adapters for it. One is a speed booster, which is right around $150, and then you can get a regular adapter, which if you get a knockoff brand like I do, I have a Comlight, then it's only about $40 to $50. For this video, I'm just gonna use the regular pass-through adapter instead of using the speed booster to show you what you can do with like a budget setup. Now, one cool thing about it with the M50 and kit lens combo, and then getting the 50mm, is that the kit lens and Canon's EF 50mm both have the same thread size. So you're going to be able to use all of your filters that you normally are using for your kit lens for the 50mm. Little throwback to my parkour days. I think to really understand why you should get this lens, we should really ask, what is the kit lens good for? And the kit lens really is good as like a starter lens, something that gets you going, something that you can immediately go out and start filming, something that does everything okay, but does nothing particularly well. But I actually find the 15mm end of the spectrum a lot more useful than the 45mm. For one, it's f3.5 instead of 6.3, and that makes a huge difference when you're starving for light. And besides low light, the other thing that the kit lens is not good at is shallow depth of field. Pretty much, unless you have a really deep background, you're not gonna get one. When you're at 15mm at f3.5, you don't have that much shallow depth of field. And then when you zoom into 45mm, it goes down to 6.3, and you don't get a very shallow depth of field. But the EF 50mm goes down to 1.8. And this is the difference between 6.3 and 1.8. So whereas you don't always need to have a really shallow depth of field, sometimes you do, and it's always better to have the creative freedom to do the type of video and film the type of footage that you actually want to and not be restricted by your gear. I assume any other year other than 2020, this place would be packed. Another thing that the 50mm is good for is like interview shots. If you've tried to shoot an interview with the kit lens, you realize that you can't attain the look that other YouTubers or even like professional commercials are able to do. When you zoom into 45, you get the nice compression that makes your subject more flattering, but it always just looks a little bit off. And that's because you're shooting at f6.3. You do not get much shallow depth of field. You have to raise up your ISO or get brighter lights, and it just makes everything way more of a hassle all around. Whereas when you have the nifty 50, you can attain the looks that you're going for when it comes to depth of field, when it comes to just brightness. It's going to help you attain looks and control your image in a way that the 15 to 45 just doesn't let you do. By the way, how's this framing? The Forest Theater, cool. If you're trying to like do portrait photography on the cheap, then there was no better lens to get than the 50mm 1.8. Okay, that was lightning. Well, it's not pouring down rain anymore. Unfortunately, now it's way too sunny. And finally, one of the big reasons that I would suggest getting the nifty 50 over, say, a vintage 50mm 1.8 is this. You got autofocus, and one of the biggest strengths of the M50 is autofocus. And the fact that with this lens, with a super shallow depth of field, you can still have good, solid autofocus the entire time. You never have to worry about it. It gives it a huge advantage over those vintage lenses. In the end, the nifty 50 pairs really well with the kit lens and the M50, and that combo will allow you to do pretty much anything that you've seen on this channel. If you've been looking for a new lens that complements your kit lens really well, definitely check this one out. I think that it is the best option for us here on YouTube. And I mean, come on, 125 bucks? Like, that's a steal. And you could get it cheaper than that used. I mean, it's hard to get a good vintage lens for that price, much less getting something with autofocus that pairs very well with the M50. That's it for this one. If you found this video helpful, there's 3 ways that you can support this channel. 1 is, of course, subscribe. Number 2 is check the affiliate links down in the description. I've linked to the nifty 50 as well as all of my gear down there. And if you use those links, we get a small kickback at no extra cost to you. Finally, and the newest one is you can also become a Crowley crew member. If you see the little join button down below, click on that and you can get more information about what that is and how to do it. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.